Okay, so we're gonna on the audio version of the podcast, we're gonna play the Imperial Death March here. As Harrison joins us.
I
Like
mean, Harrison shows up to rub it more in Dallas's face. He shows up with a hat on that looks like the hat worn by the guys that killed JFK.
Yeah. He's here to tell us about the impressions that he got, like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones from this trade.
Yeah, no, see, this is my Lakers fedora. It's very important. This was a very important giveaway that the Lakers did that was very cool. Everybody's into fedoras. And I had to put back on my real journalist Lakers exceptionalism hat because, I wore this every time I podcasted during the entire, 2020 title season. I made the mistake of taking it off, and we've been, like the Lakers have been horrible since then. And by horrible, I mean they made the Western Conference Finals only once. And they were in the playoffs last year. They only won a game. It was pretty lame.
Yeah. Lost to one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah. And so, they decided that, and they also won the in-season tournament. So, that was pretty good.
Another championship. That's banner 18.
The light of Lakers exceptionalism never dies. And so I think that's what this trade tells us above all is that, the Lakers, no matter how improbable it looks, it's eternal. They're always going to respawn another star.
I guess what I'm mad about, because we did the trade machine ward crimes like pretty recently, and a frequent, we send NB into the mines, Nihilus Bucks. We lower him like the Terminator into the lava pit to go into Instagram and find the most obnoxious, fake trades from people who don't understand the cap, don't understand player value, don't understand draft pick value, like and they Nico come Harrison. Up. Yeah, and basically what we're learning is that they are closer to reality than anything that we've ever come up with. Because this is, look, I don't want to, far be it from me to be hyperbolic, but this is maybe the worst day of my life since far. Yeah, so far. Yeah, I was going to say this. I can't believe that of all the teams to benefit. I know. Look, I know my team just got a title, but like 10 years later off of a completely lopsided trade. But let me just say that was a team.
I love that you're doing this rant instead of Trill about it's unbelievable how the Lakers just.
Yeah, you guys have it really hard. So I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna sit back and learn.
But here's the thing:
learn and grow.
With that took like 9 different ridiculous strokes of luck to get to a similar tier of result. The Lakers just needed one lucky thing to go wrong, which was I don't know what happened to Nico Harrison. I don't know if he was held at gunpoint. I don't know if there is a family member, if Liam Neeson has several members of his family in a remote location. This is the worst trade in the history of the NBA. And the fact that the Lakers are the team to benefit from it is mind-blowing.
Can I just say that this is the Lakers have obviously made like a lot of like crazy, awesome trades I've been excited about in my time as a fan. I started watching the team like in the like early 2000s. That's when I was like starting to watch basketball. Not a bandwagon. I grew up in LA. That's just when I started to actually watch basketball. Okay.
The first season of NBA basketball I remember was the Shaq MVP season.
The first finals I watched was them crushing your Sixers.
I was going to say, actually, I'm sorry. Shaq's MVP season was the year before. It was the Iverson MVP season when we lost, and we were the only team that beat the Lakers in a single game in the playoffs, and we had to go to overtime to do it. That's how good that team was.
Like the Tyronn Lue step over game. Yep. Never forget. Child Harrison was very upset about this. But they ended up making it happen. Like I've seen a lot of the Lakers make a lot of incredible trades in my sort of fandom lifetime. And this, I have to say, I don't know if this is just me getting older, if I'm soft now, or if it really is just this lopsided, but like, this is the first time I felt bad for the other fan base, like in the moment as it's happening. Normally there's like this buildup of, like with the Pelicans over AD, like we were going to war with Pelicans fans over like defending the honor of Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball. And like, they're not a dumpster fire. Okay, guys. Like I know they're not AD.
Fourth pick in the draft. Yeah. They could have taken Darius Garland. They didn't, but
That was actually honestly, that was
at
like
the
a
time,
pretty
that was
fine trade.
I was going to say that was seemed like a win-win.
They overpaid.
Yeah,
but
I kind of thought they overpaid.
Instead, they flipped Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, some other stuff, a few picks into Anthony Davis, a championship, and then Luka Doncic.
And a Western Conference Finals appearance in the middle of this run.
We don't hang banners for that.
I know you guys don't. I mean, I would literally kill for a conference finals appearance. I know that to Lakers and Celtics fans, they would rather, that's for the impoverished franchises.
Yeah, that's revolting.
I mean, I obviously the Eagles have had a lot of success in my lifetime. I'm happy anytime they make it to the conference finals, but you guys are spoiled brats. So I do just want to say that I think that is a part of getting older, is feeling more empathy in these situations. For example, I've been the biggest 49ers hater for years. Like I've just because the 49ers are one of the only other teams in the NFC that have like competed with the Eagles over the last handful of years. And I hate their players. Obviously their fans are really annoying online, gotten into it. And then last year when they blew that lead in the Super Bowl, and I had to watch even Kyle Shanahan, who I hate with all of my, I hate that guy. Nepo baby, really good at what he does, but just a complete asshole. Watching him walk onto the field, like just completely like in shock when the Chiefs won that game last year, I felt embarrassed on behalf of the 49ers and their fans. So I do think that this level of fleecing to trade Anthony Davis, who is often injured at 31 going on 32 years old, for when I say like, I don't think that we are still all in shock days later, right?
Yes.
Like we're all still in shock days after what has happened. This is literally the best scorer since Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like it's like, now look, you can make the argument for other guys.
You have to be for Anthony Edwards to say that you're the best scorer in the league over him.
Yeah. Best scorer since Michael Jordan. In the playoffs, second all-time leading scorer points per game behind Michael Jordan. And is seemingly not even entered his prime yet. And
basketball players usually don't at 25. Usually that's a little later in their 20s that they enter their prime. And it's just like, on a serious note, it is mind blowing to me that the Mavs just decided they're like, this is the only 25-year-old superstar that is never going to mature and get better habits as he gets a little bit older and, loses a couple times and takes things more seriously. And, look, if they're right, then maybe this does end up being a bad trade for the Lakers. If Luka just does become the new Embiid, like they're leaking that they think he's going to. But
what does history tell us about this?
That's not what's going to happen. Like, that's what I mean.
Shaq goes to the Lakers when he's 25, 26. He did not have the best rep in the world at the time, made it to the finals, was a dominant player, amazing prospect, had all the success in the world, and then goes to the Lakers, wins an MVP, wins 3 finals, goes down as one of the greatest Lakers of all time. And once again, I do think that, look, all the concerns about all the stuff Harrison DM'd me and said, every leak that's coming out from the Mavs side is the Elon Musk's father saying that I'm not proud of my son and he needs to lose some weight. Meme that popped up last week. Like it's not to say that I'm sure they know more than we know. I'm not saying that we know more information than they do. Like obviously they work with him on an everyday basis.
You can know things and still make an idiotic decision.
Exactly. And what I was going to say was like, Luka in some ways has suffered a little bit from his own success. And we've even joked about it on the podcast. Like the fact that he isn't clearly the best player in the league is a disappointment considering his first 2 or 3 seasons in the NBA. But he's still at worst the 4th best player, probably one of the 3 best.
He was the best player on a finals team last year. Like,
and that was before he got to LA and the only thing he had to eat was vegan food.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Erewhon Smoothie Luka, the league's in trouble. Like they don't know what they just
motivated, pissed off, mad at the fucking
able to go for walks on the beach, like he's gonna want to pop the shirt off. Like he's gonna start, taking some of this stuff seriously.
And can I just say though, also like, because I've made fun of Luka's weight. I mean, there were some games like earlier in the year when it was like pretty jarring that like Luka would like how Luka looked in terms of carrying weight.
There's no way.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Like we all saw him get off the plane in LA. Like he looked normal. like this is what I understand that part of it is like coming into the season conditioned. Some of this stuff, I'm sorry, this all kind of sounds like boomer bullshit. Because like what you're really mad about is him not taking the beginning of the season seriously. And yes, I understand how that can look to like other players. I'm sorry, this is the NBA. Like star players get special treatment.
And that's what they do coming off finals runs.
Yeah.
Hold on. This is what drives me insane because Brian's saying it in the comments right now. Luka is getting blamed for dragging their team to the finals.
Yes.
The Celtics have created basically a perfect basketball roster built around 2-star wings that complement each other really well. Luka takes Daniel Gafford and makes him into like a sub all-star level player. This is what drives me fucking nuts about the Luka conversation. He takes fucking scrubs and he turns them into impact players. Derek Jones Jr. was a nobody until last year. Fucking like Derek Lively. Look at his stats when Luka's on the court. Look at his stats when Luka's on the bench. It's insane to come here and say, oh, well, Luka could have done this. Luka could have done that. He's got to the conference finals. He's been to the finals. Their rosters aren't even good. He makes them good, dude. He makes them good. Like, this is what drives me fucking insane about the Luka conversation, dude.
No,
they're not. That team isn't good.
There's like, there's like a meme here to be had of like the small domino, big domino. And it's like Brian Windhorst like goes off on Luka not getting back on defense in the finals. And then it's like Luka Los Angeles Laker in 6 months later.
I'm not like, honestly, I mean, and maybe I'm just like a whiny baby. Like there's so much that's so incompetent about this like trade that Nico Harrison made that the more I think about it, the more I do think that there is some sort of conspiracy going on here, that it is just the latest chapter in Kevin McHale gifting the Celtics Kevin Garnett or the Pau or Chris Wallace. Yeah. Pau Gasol. There's the Celtics and the Lakers historically have been the biggest beneficiaries of these types of trades where they have sleeper cells within their the front offices, and Ramona Shelburne couldn't help but do the snowman. I told you, Mr. Policeman, I gave you all the clues, like highlighting the fact that like Pelinka and Nico Harrison go way back and are it's hard for me to not look at Nico Harrison's professional life. The fact that he is associated with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is unhappy. And it's hard for me to not see him taking this Dallas Mavericks general managerial run and using it to position what his next job is going to be. Because what he's really doing is he's rescuing Anthony Davis. It seems like his priority was not really getting a proper return for Luka. It was getting Anthony Davis on the Dallas Mavericks. And that's just completely backwards from like everything else that you know
what they say about negotiations. Lock in on one thing and say that's the thing that I want, and I will do anything to possibly get that, and then give every concession imaginable to get the thing that you want.
I love the galaxy brain. Like, well, Max Christie's pretty good though. Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
That is the funny part. Is like there's part of me in my bones that like is driven crazy by the way that people are talking about AD, like Mavs fans especially, like over the last little bit, because it's like he's good. Like people are talking about him like he's trash on like a horrible contract. And like he's a good player, but it's like he's not Luka, so I totally get it. It's like I can't even say anything because it's like, like I mean, Max Christie is like a good player, but he's not Luka.
Well, that was the thing that Bill bringing up on the podcast, being like, Max Christie's not nothing, and it was like,
he's not nothing, but in comparison to Luka, and
then Russillo goes, "What are we doing here?" Like, it's Luka Doncic in the middle of his prime. Now, I just like all of this. Once again, no disrespect to Kyrie, who's a great player, but also Kyrie went.
Disrespect to Kyrie.
What's that?
Just a little bit of disrespect to Kyrie.
I'll disrespect Kyrie a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
We've seen Kyrie be the number one guy. We know how this story ends. Like, it's not to say that he has the same tendencies that he had when he was younger. It's just to say that if Kyrie Irving is your best offensive player, your ceiling is limited in the playoffs. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
That the reality is that you're not going to the conference finals. You're not going to the finals. You're not winning the finals. It's not to say that you can't be a good, competent team, but it's going to overextend him when he is the second option. He's one of the greatest second options in the NBA.
Yeah. Have you seen his handle though? Like, I think that makes it so it doesn't matter, in the playoffs when they put longer guys on him and it doesn't go as well,
Unironically, I do think that Kyrie falls into the bucket of like the LaMelo, Kyrie, like the beautiful game shit where it's like, I don't particularly care if like they're winning at the highest levels all the time, because it's just like, at the end of the day, this is an entertainment product.
Yes.
And that I want to watch some of I grew up on Allen Iverson. Was he the most efficient guy? Was he always the most impactful guy? No, but he was an amazing player to root for and watch. And I think that is part of it.
I grew up on Kobe. I totally get it.
Exactly.
It's like,
and it's the same argument that we're making, the Hooper argument essentially. But Kyrie is the brilliant thing about Kyrie, and the brilliant thing about AD, who's not a Hooper, is that they are the perfect complementary players to superstar level players, superstar offensive players. Luka Doncic, LeBron James.
They're like LeBron's best two Robins, arguably.
Exactly. Other than Wade. It's like those two and Wade.
Well, and this is what El Mencho just said in the comments was Kyrie, AD, and Clay all on a roster together. It's Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Damian Wade, a Robin convention.
They put together the Teen Titans.
God.
Yeah.
Now let's just try to. I'm gonna have slightly bias on tomorrow to talk about the Mavericks perspective, because
Jesus, why would you do that to that man? That sucks. Yeah,
he was kind enough. He was kind enough. We're gonna have a therapy session with slightly biased tomorrow.
He's a braver man than me, dude. I would walk into the ocean.
But let's just try to snap ourselves out of reality and put ourselves into the psychedelic mind palace of Nico Harrison right now. And think about
someone named Harrison. I think I'm prepared to do this. It's sort of like warg into his brain a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Just morphing into the namesake there. So I've talked about I think the exception to this rule is if you have a top 5 player in the middle of the Premier, top 6 player, if you want to, because the league is filled with guys that would be top 5 players in any era. I think there's probably, we joke about it a lot, but it's like there's probably 8 top 5 players right now. Outside of those teams, I do think that, for example, what the Knicks are doing, the Knicks, Jalen Brunson's probably the 9th to 12th best player in the NBA right now. And if you are to build a team around that kind of player, who, by the way, was also on the Mavericks. I'm sorry. Who was also on the Mavericks. If you're to build around him in a way, what the Knicks have done is actually really smart. They got a bunch of long defenders. They got good complementary pieces, a stretch 5 to let Brunson cook inside, a really, really good starting 5. Does Nico Harrison think that because of this new CBA that you just can't supermax a guy and make a contender? Which, by the way, I do, just getting this out of the way. Jaylen Brown got supermaxed and won the final. Jaylen Brown, who is a good player, but also kind of doubles down on this point that if you build a good enough team around a guy, it doesn't matter how much you're paying your main guy. If you have 4 other all-stars like the Celtics do, it doesn't fucking matter. But long story short of this is do you think that from his perspective, he sees it as you need to have two-way players, you need to have depth, and you need to have legit guys that just complement each other, and that the model of the top 5 player and a bunch of scrubs the Mavericks had for a good stretch of his administration would not be viable in the modern NBA? Is that what he's seeing in his psychedelic mind palace?
So I think that's the basketball argument that I would imagine that he and, the other Mavericks, I hesitate to call them a brain trust, but you know what I mean? Would say about this deal and why they're considering, why they valued Anthony Davis and, basically called Luka a fat loser on the way out the door. They're we're excited to get AD with his two-way potential, which really drives winning. And, thank you, Luka, for his equal contributions to Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. And that's the real thing. Is like, it's so clear that they hated him and they thought that they didn't enjoy dealing with him. They didn't think he was ever going to, develop quote unquote winning habits, even though he, again, was in a conference finals 3 years ago and was in the finals last year. And it's like, but he's not, it only matters if you, can drag your team there and win, I guess.
Right.
It's,
getting there means nothing, even though that roster
Luka's like, he's DJ Khaled roster. He's suffering from success.
I literally said he's suffering from his own success. Like, he is the DJ Khaled album cover where he's like hunched over,
And the Mavs would say that he looks like DJ Khaled, according to their leagues.
Maybe that's why the Adelsons wanted him traded.
You go ahead, Harris.
Yeah, I just I told Trill I was only going to come on if I could cook with this conspiracy theory for like 10 seconds, so or 2 minutes. Cook. So the thing that people are not talking about, I think, as far as the Mavs angle of this, is that this this is the most obvious Jason Kidd coach, jumping in and trying to go and get guys that they think are good, like the Doc Rivers memorial type. Like, this is a guy that I coached before and I know he's a dog and I can go get him to win. And this loser is not ever going to get it together. And it's not on me as a coach to try and augment things around him. I just got to get guys that care more. That's all that matters, is guys that care more and try harder and stay in shape and, all of that stuff. And we've seen that Jason Kidd throughout his career has been a coup enthusiast. He is someone who, he tried to seize power with the Nets, basically got traded for it, and then tried to seize power with the Bucks and got fired for it. And, I think that maybe we figured out that this is sort of like his Machiavellian masterstroke on the third try. He saw Mark Cuban as owner GM was gone, and he sees a power vacuum and sort of jumps in, and then somehow gets Nico Harrison to take the fall for it and leak that he had no idea that this is coming and whatever. I don't believe that for a second. You think Nico Harrison, Nike exec, is I really don't think that Luka is the type of two-way player that can get it done for us. And we really need Anthony Davis, who's if you look at his defensive VORP, it's going to be a little bit high. It's this is Jason Kidd saying, I need a defensive center. And there was also the Amick report that they only went after one other superstar, and who do you think that was? It was clearly Giannis. Yeah, because what other team would take the call and immediately say no to a Luka trade for their star? There's 3 teams.
It would literally only be Luka. It would be Luka, SGA. I don't think the Celtics would say yes to Tatum. So 4. I think it would be 4. Tatum, Giannis, Jokic, and SGA. Yeah. I think those would be the only 4 teams that would. Oh, and Wemby. So 5.
And maybe Steph, just for sentiment.
No, they would say yes to a Steph for Luka trade. At this point, you don't think Lakeup wouldn't be I can get Luka Doncic in the middle of
the Nepo baby front. The Nepo baby, they don't have that same gumption.
It's not Bob Myers. He left because they didn't want to make the tough decisions. I think they would do it.
Steph and Clay.
You may be right. I struggle to picture it, but it doesn't matter. There's very, very few players that would have turned it down. And I don't know. I mean, to me, this just screams every leak has been about how he, again, they're basically calling him a fat loser who doesn't care about doing what it takes to win. That's usually not something that execs are leaking. That's something that coaches are ranting to their execs in their office about.
Can I say something though? Because I think they're saying that because that's literally the only thing you can say in this trade that makes any sense whatsoever. Is defense? Defense is the only thing you can say about this trade that makes it. You can't even say that Luka is a threat to miss time like the Heat are with Jimmy Butler because Anthony Davis misses a ton of time. He falls down on it and hurts his gets a boo-boo on his fanny and then misses a week every 2 weeks. I'm sorry, this is the fact that they only dealt with one team and didn't shop it. That is such negligent GM practice on so many levels that it's almost impossible to take it as anything other than direct sabotage. The
investigation when Nico Harrison is making $20 million as Lakers assistant GM is going to be incredible.
That's going to happen.
I can't wait until
we're going to find out if a team can sue, in retrospect, a former exec to get
15 years from now. 15 years from now, we'll have the Affleck Damon movie about this saga where they cover the Nico Harrison corruption that is going on. I mean, they already got they did the Jordan movie, right? Damon did the movie about the Jordan shoe. Now they're going to get the behind the scenes working on behalf of either the Lakers or Nike or something, because it still doesn't make any sense. And by the way, the defense wins championships thing, Sam's completely right when he says it's the only thing you can point to, because it's the only thing that Anthony Davis does better than Luka Doncic. But I do think that, like, and this is the thing that people really sell short when it comes to this. Now, look, maybe at the higher levels we saw like Luka struggle to guard guys in the finals, and there will be some times that you can exploit his defensive weaknesses. But in general, like, I mean, look, Jokic is a better defender than Luka. He's also plays a position where it's more important to be a legitimately good impact defender than Luka does. The thing about guys like Jokic, the thing about guys like Steph, the thing about guys like Luka is that they are so good on offense that I just talked about, like the scrubs, the stars and scrubs theory. This dates back to Harden and all of these guys. But specifically, like those three guys, Jokic, Steph, Luka. You can put limited offensive players around these guys and they can lift up the talent, which is why it's not all of this is in a vacuum, is what I'm trying to say. Like, offense impacts defense, defense impacts offense. Luka can take guys that are below average offensive players and make them into good offensive players that are defensively skilled, that you can then insulate some of the issues that Luka has on defense. It literally has happened to the point where they have gotten in 3 seasons to the conference finals and the finals. And once again, he's never going to be a great defender, but a lot of this shit is motivation, being in shape, all that stuff. And now he has the fire lit under him with the Lakers. And like the Lakers, I don't know. It's funny because like Pelinka somehow, the leaks that are coming out now is that Pelinka somehow negotiated this deal down. And I talked about the fact that like you were always going to feel like this feels so bad for Mavs fans, but you at least could cope a little bit more if they got Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, Max Christie, all the picks possible. And the fact that what's that?
Every swap,
like the fact that we're getting
have Dalton Connect though.
Okay, of course. Yeah, of course. No, yeah. I mean, him and Luka are the same age, so they're going to get along really well.
They need someone to show him around LA, one of his peers.
Yes.
Rookie Dalton Connect.
Exactly. So the thing that I was thinking is the fact that like I don't trust the Lakers. It's funny to say this about the team that just got Luka Doncic for fucking pennies on the dollar, but I don't trust them to build a great team around Luka. But once again, Luka makes team building so easy that they don't even have to try really. Like they're instantly going to be, even with the flaws with the center stuff and with the LeBron Luka fit not being like perfect and Austin Reeves and Luka not being a great defensive fit, they're still going to be really good. They're still going to be able to score a ton, and they're probably going to be pretty decent for the rest of this season. And then if they can revamp the roster in the offseason, they're going to be great next year and for the future, for the next 5 years.
Yeah, it's a very weird roster right now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
But
I am curious to see if they can get anything done by the trade deadline. But yeah, I agree. I mean, you have to make the trade. It's one of these things where it's like, it's almost like the mythical, like 9-for-1 in the trade machine trade that is never going to happen because teams don't want to like cut that many guys and go through all the logistics and whatever. But like in this case, you do something like that to make your roster that lopsided just because it's Luka.
Exactly. Like it's one of those things where you're like, I think we can worry about this later.
It's like, yeah, he's 25. We can figure that out in the summer if we don't win the title this year. It's that you're no longer. And the thing for the Lakers is why it's such an escape hatch is that they were, again, I say this as someone who respects AD like a lot. I think he's a little underrated, but like he was not going to be the face of the franchise moving forward. Like that was not that he's not that level of guy. Like he is a great, maybe one of the best second bananas in NBA history, but that's where he tops out. And, they were going to go into, they had this weird thing of like, it's like, is LeBron going to retire? Is he not? Is he going to stick around another year? We don't know. But then, whenever he hangs it up, it's like, well, we got Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves under contract to sell tickets, I guess. And it's like, they were sort of going to be stuck on the treadmill of mediocrity.
Exactly.
The Buss family's too poor to like go to greenlight an all out tank job or anything.
Small family business.
Yeah, exactly. They are a small family business. They did. I don't know if you guys saw this today. They did get catering for the media at the Luka press conference today, which is how I know they already forecasted like the jersey sales. They're like, okay, we're good.
Spending, baby.
We can write this off. We're gonna
Christmas bonus.
Well, are the PPP loans coming back in this post-tariff environment?
They finally hit the account.
Yeah,
the Luka stimulus.
It went
package.
through by mistake. The person who was like responsible for green lighting those got fired and the Doge stuff.
Well, no, I was just gonna say no. The 19-year-olds found them and like pushed them through in their sleep hatches when they're sitting in the USAID. The malaria payments that were supposed to go to fighting disease in Africa are now,
USAID is going to the Lakers.
The Lakers, yes. That's
our greatest institution.
Yeah.
We're reinvesting in American institutions that we thought were failed and crumbling.
I'm just glad that the Lakers were still able to bring over a talented foreign worker to fulfill needs of their team.
It's a tough time for that right now.
Yeah.
God, I wish Vivek Ramaswamy was still part of this administration because he would have a fire tweet about how Luka pulled up his pants and did what he had to. Urkel, he is not Urkel. So,
well, are we sure that the Adelsons aren't going to send ICE agents to the crypto center?
I don't think so. Like the Adelsons, I don't know. The Las Vegas, like, are they trying to move the team to Las Vegas? Do we know? I don't know. Like, it just seems
you can tell me, by the way,
thing where they're like trying to destroy the morale of the franchise so that they can, and the fan base, so that they can move the team. Like, I don't know if I buy that conspiracy theory, but if you told me that that's what happened later, like there was a book on it in 10 years, I wouldn't be that shocked.
You can tell me on anything. I'm literally, my third eye is open. You can literally, I'm open to all ideas because whatever it is makes more sense to me than this.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Like, this is such a bizarre, like, it's so bad that it goes beyond malfeasance. You know what I'm saying? Like it's impossible to consider that anyone in an NBA front office could like be this stupid, you know, like, cause again, a lot of the other moves are like, have come from like GMs who are on their last strike and like desperately trying to save their jobs with something that completely mortgages the future at the cost of, like, Chris Wallace was on his way out the fucking door. Kevin McHale was a dead man walking and just did his buddy like Danny Ainge on. Nico Harrison's team was just in the fucking finals. And Trill and I talked about this. He did a pretty good job, like up to that point. Like, it really is like one of the most bizarre turnarounds like that's ever happened like in the NBA. Like, and I wonder, like, the only other thing I can think of is that like Luka was so toxic around the facility. It was like impossible to do that. And I just don't think that's like, really, the Miami Heat still have Jimmy Butler on their roster because they're not getting enough for him, and he's like 35, and he's like actively like saying,
he's like pulling the fire alarms. They have to ban him from the facility. Like, like Jimmy, this is a safety hazard. Like, we're not going to pass it. You can't set traps for Pat Riley around the facility and just like leave banana peels outside his office. Like,
you're doing Tom and Jerry stuff. Like, he's ringing the door, like he's at the. Pat Riley's getting hit with a paint can every time he goes up the stairs.
Like, he just brought a baseball bat in and smashed the copier one day. You know, they're like, all right, that's it. Turn off his key card. And they're still keeping him.
And because they understand that they need to get like at least some value. Like, man.
Yeah, and someone just put it in the chat, but
I saw this earlier.
Report that I was going to bring up. It's like every single leak and report and comment about this makes it even stranger. And, you know, again, and I'm not saying this as someone who is not complaining. I'm very excited about Luka on the Lakers, but it's just like, it's bizarre to me that it was even able to happen. You know, this report from DLLS that, you know, there's been a belief, which multiple teams and league sources expressed to me over the past months, long before this trade, that Harrison does not have a long-term desire to remain in his current role as general manager. How do you let him make that trade?
Well, that's kind of
what an extension last offseason.
No, but here's the other thing though too. There's other people in the front office who like have jobs like associated with this. You're not looking at this guy making one of the like craziest mistakes of all time. This is like guy being working at the fucking nuclear power plant and watching Homer Simpson. Like, there's got to be like a Frank Grimes somewhere in that. There's
a Quentin Grimes. Front office. He's on the Sixers now.
In the Sixers, who's like looking around, like, are you serious? Nobody's gonna stop him from doing this. Like, none of us are.
Well, I mean, someone just brought it up in the chat, Sam. But all the reports are that no one else knew about this other than ownership and like the GM.
That's insane, man. Like, I would. I might like resign the next day just to like make a point so I could get a job somewhere else in the league. Like I had nothing to do with it because like you can't have that on your resume. Like this is because it screams of incompetence. You can't have it. It's such a damaging like trade on like so many levels. I really think that this is a worse single move than what the Celtics trade with like Billy King, because that was like three compounding moves, starting with the Gerald Wallace trade, into the Joe Johnson trade, into the Celtics trade being like the knife in the heart.
And we talked about the Herschel Walker trade. If you
doubling down on bad hands, and so he just kept having to try and go all in. It was.
If you want to go beyond basketball, we talked about the Herschel Walker trade the other night on stream. Yeah. People have talked about it in the Discord. The Herschel Walker trade was bad. The KD Pierce trade was bad. In the moment, they seemed bad.
Yeah.
They didn't seem disastrous.
They didn't seem so bad that you questioned if the reporter was hacked. Everyone thought the
reporter thought he was getting fake information. Yeah. Shams said that he thought that someone hacked the person's phone he was talking to. Shams said he didn't believe it when he got the text. Shams.
Yeah,
like this is the level.
You know how crazy your move has to be for Shams to make fun of it. Like this is the guy. Like he's not Woj. He doesn't weigh in on like the quality of transactions. I had no idea what they were doing. I just report the news, dude.
I had to reach out to someone at ESPN to get like clarification, like because I didn't believe it. Because the first thing I thought was fucking Elon. He's giving me push notifications from a burner, like a shitty, not real Shams account. I Google it. I go to the Shams account. I immediately think he's hacked. Like it really is some of the like worst.
I had people who I haven't spoke to in like 5 years texting me, being like, "Is this real? Like, is this a thing?" And I legitimately, it took me forever to kind of figure it out. But I mean, I'm still processing. Every 10 seconds, I go, "Oh my god, they traded Luka." Like, I don't understand it. But let's move on to just a few more things here. We'll talk about the Quentin Grimes thing at some point. Also, just if you want to keep adding salt to the wound, the Mavericks play their next game against the Cavs without half their team because guys are out due to trade, guys are out due to injury. The Cavs fucking run them off the court. And then tonight, Joel Embiid is playing his first game in I think it's been over a month, or at least a month since he's played a game for the Sixers. And the Mavs are going to have to go up against them once again without AD. They just made a trade, the Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin trade. I'm assuming both of those guys will not be playing tonight. So to add more salt into the wounds of Mavericks fans, once again, I would be completely checked out. Did you guys see the news interview with
the press conference? Right?
No. Oh. Did you see the interview with the Mavs fan who goes,
"Oh no."
He literally said live on TV, he goes, "I might just kill myself."
He's so real, dude.
They brought a coffin to the Dirk Nowitzki statue and played funeral music in robes. Like,
honestly, that's like tame. You know what I'm saying? If that happened, like, honestly, Mavs fans deserve a lot of credit because there really should have been a riot. It's insane.
This is going to radicalize
the video
a lot
of them cheering when the power washer couldn't get the profane message to Nico off the sidewalk was incredible.
So good.
It's so good.
This is the kind of thing that we need. But once again, I've talked about it, like sports are an escape for a lot of people. And if you creep into that, capitalism eventually gets into every aspect of your life and it slowly dismantles it and just ruins it for you. This is what makes people go insane. And I'm just hoping that they head in the right direction. Anyway, on to the Lakers trade targets. Other than this, do you think they make a trade for a center, Harrison, before the deadline? Or do you first off,
do you think Jokic is available?
I mean, how many picks are the Nuggets sending back to take on the
Wemby's
salary?
not as much of a win now move, but I guess you call the Spurs. Like he is easier to make work contractually.
Yeah, he and Reeves make sense salary wise.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing it if you have to include Reeves, but I think
Jared Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I think like Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, and like the Lakers, they do have their own 2025 pick in the second round. I think that might get it across the finish line.
Yeah, that's a good one. I actually that makes total sense in my head. Because defense wins championships, so you need Wemby instead of Jokic.
other thing was like, this was worse than any of the trade machine war crimes that you guys
yes.
about. Like, it's you guys doing parody of bad trades could not come up with one crazier than this. And again, I say that as someone who thinks Anthony Davis is good. Like, this is crazy.
Well, that's the thing, is everyone's treating Anthony Davis like he's fucking Rashawn Holmes salary filler. And the thing is, they're not wrong, given the comparison.
In where they're at in their careers. It's just... Yeah, it's wild to consider that Anthony Davis at one point was like, I would say the first month of the season, he was like a legit, like, not that you think about MVP candidates in November, but like
he should be in the discussion. MVP,
exactly,
early candidate. Yeah,
and this is where we're at in February. Jesus Christ, my brain is all scrambled. Yeah. This has blown my mind. So Laker center upgrades. Because Jackson Hayes is the starter now, I'm assuming.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been AD's been out, so he's been the starter.
Sure. I know he got hurt in that Sixers game, which happened like a week ago. So my question for you is, are there any targets? Like, I know Pelinka said at the press conference today that he thinks that the center market is too dry right now, as in, like, they don't want to give up their only tradable pick to go get, like...
He's saying there's not much slop around the centers.
Exactly. There's basically no one that's available that's probably worth that pick. I mean, I know they've been tied to Nick Claxton, Rob Williams, but, like, Rob doesn't play enough to give up a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Claxton... I would love the Claxton fit personally. I don't know what the Nets asking price is for Claxton. With Luka and LeBron, he would be fucking fantastic. I think that would be really good. Another name that they've been tied to is Steven Adams. Isn't that a more recent one that they got tied to? That would be more.
I actually didn't even see that one.
I think it came out recent. Like, but once again, this would be like a half measure. Yeah. Let's get a competent center that can play minutes in the door for the rest of the season, and then readdress it in the offseason, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, in seriousness, I don't think like they're gonna go for their long-term center right now, unless unless someone calls them and is like, "Hey, you want to take this insane trade?" And Rob Pelinka's like, "What did I like?" I guess prayer pays off. I don't know. Like, it's just like, But the thing that you also have to remember about Rob Pelinka is that he is a, like, borderline psychotic liar. And so, like, the fact that he went up there today and it's like, I don't know if we could trade for a center. It's really hard to make trades. He's been talking for the last 3 years about how hard it is to make trades under the CBA. And then he just traded for Luka midseason. So it's like, he clearly can, he can cook in silence a little bit sometimes.
Sure. Real G's move in silence, like lasagna. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but the thing now for the Lakers is that it is easier to find a center than when AD was demanding one, because number one, all they can really offer is they can only offer one first round pick at this point. And so teams can't go, well, we're going to, we want 2 for Walker Kessler. We want 2 for Robert Williams or whatever, and like be unreasonable and crazy, because it's like, well, we can't offer you that. So you can here's what we can offer you. And it would be very funny if they gave like a first round pick for Rob Williams the same week they gave one for Luka Doncic. But, it is easier to find a center now for them without the center having to fit in perfectly next to AD, because that's such a fine needle to thread, where it's like the last guy that they really had who was a good fit for that role was pre-COVID Marc Gasol, where it was just like they looked like they were going to destroy the league and like be on a run to their second title. And then like that whole season fell apart because of injuries, COVID, all that other stuff. But you have to have someone that's bulkier than AD that can guard centers so that he doesn't have to all the time. And then they also have to be able to shoot threes. And the list of guys that can do that is like 3 guys in the league that aren't actually bad at basketball and only do that in theory. So it's kind of like they've tried to fill it with minimums. And it's like, if you try to find one of the hardest players in the league to find with minimums, you're going to fail, which is why they had to use AD at center so much. But now, you can play a lot more of the sort of the small ball lineups that JJ Redick wants to. And, you can just find like basically any, insert roll and cut center here and screen setter here, and it sort of works as long as they're not like Jackson Hayes and have like the lowest basketball IQ of anyone I've ever seen.
I was gonna say, like, Luka made Dwight Powell work for years.
Luka genuinely, he could probably make Jackson Hayes functional, and Jackson Hayes is horrible.
Yeah. Jackson Hayes is really bad, and I'm sure he would be like moderate with. He would be like solid with Luka. That's the Luka has done. I mean, Harden always did the same thing, where it's just like taking a screen and lob big and making them into like hyper effective players. And that archetype is generally fairly easy to find compared to the archetype that you're talking about, which is, guys who are good enough defensively that can also shoot and make the right play on offense that could play next to AD. It's much easier to find those types. If I were the Lakers and Claxton were available for like, I mean, I guess the problem is, how do you find the salary? Because they don't have expiring salary left, right? So you would probably wait until this offseason to do that move anyway, because the Nets don't want to take on money. And kind of go from there.
That's the same as the Lakers saying they can't find a center. Like, you don't want to take on money until there's like a good enough deal for you to be like, okay, this isn't that much money. We'll just take it on for an extra year.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I have, I've seen people are saying in chat that Jakob Poeltl should be available.
Yeah.
I mean, Jakob's like pretty decent, pretty good starting center. Like, he would instantly be an upgrade. The Raptors traded a first for him 2 years ago. They have done nothing since. That ended up being the 8th pick of the draft, and they won a first back for him now.
Yeah, I hated Jakob as a fit when AD was here. Now I think it's fine. Like, I think that's totally like sense. That's exactly the type of like, not replace it's above replacement level guy, but like the fill-in center until you go and try and find your real like long-term big to pair next to Luka. I think that's a fine target for them. And the other thing too that it sort of does add to their asset chest here now that they have Luka is they really like, they probably will still be fairly precious about Reeves because like that's their golden boy. That's like one of their few, until they traded 1 first for Luka Doncic. Like, that's one of their few recent organizational wins. And so teams always overvalue those guys to some degree, but it's like, you have Luka now. Austin is, as much as I love him, Austin is expendable at this point. Yes. And so especially when you also have LeBron on the team, it would be one thing, like if they're going to trade LeBron, then you keep Austin because you need a backup point guard. You sort of need his facilitation. And like, if LeBron's like doing the mythical Golden State Warriors, he finally has to go play with Steph thing. But if they're keeping LeBron, they have enough playmaking between him and Luka that you probably don't need Austin, which maybe allows you to go out and get a higher caliber of guy without having to, attach those picks because Austin is on such a valuable contract.
And Austin's like very good. Like he doesn't. He's now redundant with Luka because of the defensive weaknesses, all the stuff you just discussed. But he's still a very good NBA player. Yeah. And now you can either try to trade him, whether it's for that center or it's for a defensive wing that can work off of Luka. Similar to like PJ Washington was for them. I know they already have Dorian Finney-Smith, who's played with Luka, had the best years of his career with Luka, is friends with Luka. I'd imagine that is going to be. I joked about this on the stream the other night.
Dorian Finney-Smith is like having like the best 6 months of his life. He's like, Luka, I'm sorry that you got stabbed in the back, but like, this is incredible. I got to leave the Nets and come to live in LA, and now you're going to set me up for corner threes.
Right. And also I was like, was that the 3 second round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith happened like a month ago? I was like, was that the canary in the coal mine? Like, is that like the greatest precursor to a trade ever in terms of like, you got Luka's friend? I'm not saying that Dorian Finney-Smith will fucking influence this trade or recruited him there, but like
GM,
he loved. I mean, Luka talked about the fact that like they got rid of all of the guys that he liked.
Yeah,
in Dallas, and Dorian Finney-Smith was one of his closest friends there, and they always got rid of the guys that he hung around. And now he has this guy that he is familiar with that plays well off of him. And it's just funny that about a month before you trade for Luka, he ends up on the Lakers, and that ends up being a pairing.
Oh, a month, you say? Like back when Rob started talking to Nico about the Luka trade at the Japanese iced coffee shop? It's...
Just saying. Stay woke.
Rob is really light years ahead. No, I mean, it's not even the greatest precursor to a trade in Lakers history, because that would go to the Lakers signing KCP, which then got them LeBron and then got them Anthony Davis. So
hold on, what? How did the KCP thing lead to LeBron?
Well, KCP got them in with Clutch, and like they had Rich Paul sitting with Jeannie Buss at every single game that year, basically. And he was talking to Rob all the time, but it was about KCP's upcoming free agency.
Sure,
obviously,
of course,
like having that's one of the Lakers' highest paid players at the time. You got to be in constant contact with Rob Pelinka about that, just ironing out the details of like his $13 million contract the next year. And
do you know the episode of The Simpsons where they do the if you freeze frame you can see his heart breaking in real time? Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Of that meme? That was Sam when you just brought up that KCP information. Watching this.
I'm convinced to this day that the reason that I'm convinced to this day that the reason Rob called KCP Mana from Heaven is that he knew he was getting LeBron because he got KCP. It like makes so much more sense why he was so effusive and like excited about getting KCP. And, like,
so if he was reading the Alchemist, I was gonna say if he was reading the Alchemist last time, and that's what led to the vision quest that led him to LeBron James. Was he reading The Secret this time? And he was just reading The Secret, and he was just like putting it out into the universe.
I will get Luka. I will get internet. Have bullied Rob Pelinka into not making his insane analogies anymore, where he talks about like how the young Lakers are like little lion cubs that can learn from LeBron, or like, how like, the young Lakers, it's sort of like watching Taylor Swift before she was famous, or, the one time when he was comparing like getting deals done at the trade deadline, he's like, well, it's really hard. It's like if you have two lovers and they're on a trolley car and people start piling in and like separating them and they're trying to hold hands the whole time, but it's like the more people get involved, the harder it is for them to stay together. And that's sort of why it's hard to make trades.
I'm glad that he didn't use a train in this analogy when talking about the lovers.
But now he doesn't do that stuff anymore because we made fun of him too much. So it sucks.
Yeah, Rob Pelinka.
I want to see what like 2017 Rob would have said about getting Luka.
No, I thought that the punchline there was going to be the poly problem.
I'm fairly certain Rob does not believe in that. Although if you've never watched it, there is a very funny video of him on the internet talking about how humor is important for relationships, like with his wife from before he was Lakers GM. It was like for his local church.
So real.
Yeah.
I love that Rob Pelinka is just like a himbo who is just like.
He was doing the Zoolander face the whole time during the press conference.
That's what I'm saying. His cheeks, his Botox was looking fucking good. I'll give him that. Like my man was incredible. Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the episode of 30 Rock where Liz dates John Hamm?
Yeah.
You know how like everything just works out for John Hamm because he's really handsome in the show, and like everywhere he goes, people like they get onto a bus and like an old lady stands up so they can sit and like he's just like walking down the street and people come up to him and tell him how great he is and give him things for free because he's good looking. That's Rob Pelinka's life is like that. He's just kind of stumbled into success time and time again, despite really not showing any sort of competency. Just kind of like just fucking cruising.
No, I actually push back on that. He has shown amazing competency at blaming other people when things go wrong for him.
Which is really all you need to get
arguably the GOAT of like middle management and like managing up. Like it doesn't matter if everyone on your team hates you, as long as the owner is like, I would take a bullet for that guy. He's great. He's always got my back.
That's definitely true. That is the best way to remain in the spot that you're in under our current economic system. Is literally just either be the owner or be in with the owner and do whatever it takes to keep your job. Rob's done a great job at that. And honestly might lead him to being the best GM in the NBA. I mean, someone just said, is he going to win Executive of the Year?
That would be so funny if the reason he won Executive of the Year was because of this trade finally.
That would be amazing. That would be so good.
I need this in my life. Like I need a Rob Pelinka press conference where he's holding up the little Executive of the Year trophy, or like I don't know what do they give him, like a World's Best Boss mug that's gold or something? I don't know. Like it's
amazing.
I mean, I hate to be that guy, but like it is the best trade a GM's ever made. Like by default, I think he kind of has to be like totally honest. Like
because even like the recent Brad Stevens trades are like little stepping. they're good. They're very good trades, and especially when we look back at them, but they're like stepping stone trades. Like Derek White was a good trade. Malcolm Brogdon ended up leading to Drew Holiday. The Smart for Porzingis move turned out to be really good, but like all of these moves, while they are like mini fleecings, they aren't like getting a superstar in his prime and instantly becoming like a contender because of it.
We've never seen a team not only make themselves, because like I thought Luka was going to be out a lot longer. He's apparently going to be back Monday. Like
rage heals all wounds.
I just want to say, so apparently he's going to be back Monday. So not only did you, I think, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. We'll see what they do between now and Thursday. There's like a pretty good chance the Lakers are better. I thought they were going to be worse because like Luka was going to be out for a while. But if Luka's just playing again on fucking Monday, and they can like somewhat balance the roster in between like now and then, like it doesn't even have to be like perfect. They might just be better.
Okay, that's kind of key though, because
they have
good.
to get a capable center.
I was going to say they were like competent on both both sides of the court, and now they're going to be really good on one end and really bad on the other.
And it's gonna be, like it's gonna be sort of like the Luka, like if they don't rebalance the roster a little bit, it's gonna be more like the Luka Kyrie Mavericks the first year when the roster didn't make that much sense. And like those two guys were obviously great, but they were still figuring out how to play together, and there just wasn't like enough infrastructure in place to sort of make it make sense and actually like get them to win basketball games.
Okay. The Lakers are almost 10 games over 500. They have a negative point differential. Still.
They do.
I'm sorry. This is bull. Like this is
not a
the
good
most Mickey Mouse bullshit of all time. That like
that's a JJ Redick.
JJ Redick, coach of the year. Rob Pelinka, executive of the year.
This is what I'm saying. No, you're giving JJ Redick, who's done a pretty good job.
LeBron MVP.
I credit him a lot of this stuff. You're giving them fucking Luka Doncic, dude. Like this is like. Why are we like? Oh well, it might not be good right away. It's gonna be good right away. I'm sorry. You're all fucking coping. It's going to be good right away.
I'm excited about this.
I'm sorry. What are they going to do? Would they get Jonas Valanciunas for fucking nothing and flip him for the corpse of Gabe Vincent? And then he's like fine the whole time. Like it doesn't fucking matter. You're going to have LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the same fucking team.
No, but that's exactly what Trill and I are saying. It's like, even if they make like a nothing move like that does enough. They just have to do something small before the deadline, because right now it's Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood who doesn't play. Like they just don't have like a center.
No, that's all you need to do is make like a marginal upgrade at that position, and I think that
you have to get like a normal bad NBA center instead of like
the worst center
horrible NBA.
It's like Andre Drummond and Jackson Hayes are like the two worst imaginable. Like literal. Well, is Jock Landale available? Huh, Rockets fan? That honestly would be an upgrade over Jackson Hayes. I look at this team and I go, I think that they definitely can make some noise if they get a normal center in there.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
All right, we need to move on to the next topic of conversation, which has been the talk of the town today. I already talked about the Caleb Martin Grimes trade. We'll get to that at some point here. But the other thing is that the other night on stream, Kev brought up a trade that he had been hearing, that I also heard, that I kind of dismissed and laughed at. But in this new world of slop abilities, where anything is possible,
we live in the slop zone.
We are in the slop zone, baby, because
Adam Curtis, Trump is back in office. Slop, he's lifted the slop embargoes.
It's the slop apocalypse, It's
flooding the markets.
Brandonization has been undone. The Brandonization of our trade markets have been undone. Mr. Trump has
not a Trump guy, but 2019 was the last time we had something like this. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I just want to put in perspective of what I was talking about here.
Yep.
The other night, I kind of laughed off the idea that the Suns could be trading Kevin Durant, because I hear this every few months and it never happens. But now we're starting to hear Miami saying, Jimmy saying, I'm not going anywhere but Phoenix. The Suns are open to taking calls on Kevin Durant. The Warriors are desperate, seemingly just throwing themselves at anyone they can to make a move here at the deadline. And it seems like we might get that. The framework that we were told was Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga to the Suns, Wiggins and picks to the Heat, and Kevin Durant back to the Golden State Warriors. How did we end up here?
How mad is Masai that he didn't get in there and get Wiggins in this deal? You know,
I mean, maybe that's what's holding it up. Maybe he's like, how many picks do I have to include to get another Canadian in this bitch?
Mr. Riley, Bruce Brown is ready right now. He is ready.
Total Heat culture guy too.
Yeah.
Bruce Brown. But like this, I really do think that Nico Harrison unlocked a special level of just psychotic GMing that we're about to see.
I think so.
Well, he's given. Well, at least I'm not as bad as that guy. Like everyone's
exactly.
been
Like
given
every
carte
GM
blanche.
can just go like, well, even if it messes up, there's no way it's going to be as bad as that trade.
It's bad husband privilege. He's unlocked bad husband. Like as soon as like one of your like wife's friends' husbands like cheats on him, then you could just be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry I didn't do the dishes, but at least I didn't cheat on you. That's fucking like what is going on like a
Welcome
GM?
Why do Ryan Russillo?
Look, what's going on with these tariffs?
Listen, the Warriors, they're desperate right now. They're throwing themselves at everyone. They're like that Jersey guy at the bar in New York City, 3 a.m.
Dude,
just trying to get home, doesn't want to pay $90 for an Uber.
I just want to be clear. You know that I'm not doing a bit, right? That like Russillo had a Fox News guy on, and his opening question was like, "What's going on with what's going on with these tariffs?
Yeah.
These tariffs are insane." It was the most beautiful Russillo moment.
Yeah, he said what's going. He asked him what's going on with the tariffs, and then he asked him because he's a Mavs fan, and he said, "Would you rather have Biden as president or Luka, or if Luka was back on the Mavs? Like, would you rather have that?" That was the other question. I'm not kidding. This is a real thing that happened on his podcast. And it was like a lead like bullet point in the promotion of the podcast. Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing world that we live in. But I'm constantly in shock here with what kind of slop that we're getting. Do we think that this is something that happens, or do we think that it's all to is it just the Warriors doing the Warriors thing? Because what has changed really over the last 2 weeks other than the Luka trade?
Can I just say something? I think that's a bad
the Luka
trade.
trade made it so that the Lakers no longer feel safe in their house if they don't make a deal for a superstar. Like
that's
because
fair.
Of what
they saw the Lakers
Warriors fans are going to react after the Lakers got Luka for what they got.
Yeah. They're listening to the Chasing Winds playback, and they're like, "Oh my God, they're going to revolt."
Draymond in a pick should get us Wemby.
California excellence is like the exceptionalism is off the charts. Wait, but hold on. You think it's a bad trade for who?
I think it's kind of a bad trade for the Warriors.
What?
Wiggins is really important to them. I don't know. Like
I didn't expect this.
You come on. You've been podcasting with me for a while.
No, I really didn't. I swear to God, because you love Kevin Durant.
Even for you.
I do love Kevin Durant. I don't know if I love this version of Kevin Durant, and it seems like. I'm not gonna lie. I am starting to get a little boomer brained about Kevin Durant.
Hold on. No. Because a month ago, you said on the podcast, if you were the Pistons, why wouldn't you try to trade for Kevin Durant? And I said, I don't know. It seems like every team Kevin Durant goes to, shit goes wrong.
Consistency of opinions.
Okay. No, but here's the difference, though. Because going to Detroit is like a step down. That's a raise my rent move. And that's the something. He's going back to where they chased him out like a dog. Like this is like going
and they're
back
gonna
with
be
your tail
begging him to come back and apologizing for all the things that they said.
And this is Ben Affleck and J-Lo getting back together and thinking that it's going to work.
That actually is great.
Yes. That's a much better example. Where it's just like I don't think everybody emotionally is built for this. I don't think Draymond Green is built for this. I think Steph Curry is going to roll his eyes at this. I don't think old man Steve Kerr is built for this. I don't know. And you're giving up picks too. Like
maybe they're giving up picks. Maybe that's the thing is we don't know what it is. If they're giving up picks, then I might agree with you because I'm like, I think that you're just going. The only thing I could think of is I think Steph saw what happened and went to the Warriors and said, get a trade done or I'm asking out this summer. That's what I think would happen.
To join Luka on the Lakers with
exactly.
the minimum.
For Austin Reeves and a 1 first round pick.
I'm not moving Austin Reeves. Maybe you can have Dalton.
God damn it. I hate this.
Rob Pelinka's audacity has made this possible. He got a call from the Mavs about a Luka trade, and he was like, I don't think we can include Dalton in another pick.
Oh, God.
No, you guys got to send a second to Utah, or I think we're walking away from this Luka trade.
I hate this so fucking much, dude.
Again, I've criticized him a lot over the last couple of years. He might accidentally be the greatest GM of all time.
I fucking hate this dude. The Lakers fans, I was able to tolerate their Mickey Mouse bullshit Western Conference Finals run when I was like, okay, but this at least this fuckery will not go on. It was literally that this fuckery will be over in 5 years, because I thought that they were entering the fucking tunnel of hell, and I wasn't gonna have to worry about.
When they trade for Jokic because he's fed up with the Nuggets cutting costs, it's gonna be Jokic and Luka. It's gonna be so good.
Luka and Jokic are very close friends. I just want to.
I know. It's the Balkans banana boat. It's.
God, me to Satan in the fucking July of 2022. I'd do anything for a Celtics title.
Yeah, you can't. You're in the
middle.
Yes,
I can.
We're like, all right. Well, first we're gonna load Marcus Smart in a catapult.
Yeah,
and then
Marcus Smart died. Rob Williams died.
To Drew Holiday.
I had to hear it from all the worst Celtics fans. On top of that, couldn't even enjoy my own title, and now the Lakers are good.
I was going to say, I guess I have to wait, because the only thing that I have that is even close to the Celtics or the Lakers in my lifetime is the Eagles, as I talked about earlier in the podcast. I guess I have to wait to see if the Chiefs win this weekend, because if the Chiefs beat us, then I might start to feel the hatred in my heart that Sam feels for the Lakers. It feels hard for me to understand or relate to anything like this for a team that isn't even in my own conference.
Yeah.
I know that there's the Lakers-Celtics rivalry and all that stuff.
Sam and I were born to be enemies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which makes sense why you guys hate each other.
Yeah, that's why Harrison and I are always so mad at each other.
Exactly.
And fighting all the time. Mm-hmm. We really are like dark, evil negatives of one of each other, where Harrison is a successful journalist. I am a horrid little troll who exists only in webcams.
A Bond person.
Harrison is married. I am famously doomed to the hinge zone for the rest of my life. We are like negatives in many ways.
What can Lakers exceptionalism do for you? You place literally the same person in the Lakers light, and look at my life
in the California sun. Sam has sent Sam and the other bog people that have been exiled to Maine.
I'm sorry, Sam, that was so mean.
I love this riff. That's a good riff. This is a great riff. It's fun because you're like wearing a fedora too, just killing me, crushing me, I'm getting stomped.
What?
In.
You can't find any success with the ladies? Just get a fedora. Come on.
Yeah, that's so true. God, I need to. This is really like.
I wore this in some of my wedding photos. I have the most tolerant wife
amazing.
in the world.
That's amazing.
Wow, she rules.
Yeah. Shout out to Mrs. Harrison.
Oh, speaking of Sam said earlier the Russillo analogy where he said this is why when your friend does something bad in his relationship that you get a pass, and I was like, yeah, this is why me and my girlfriend watch reality television together. We're watching Jax Taylor be like basically reality television Hitler, and I'm like, at least I'm not as bad as that guy, right?
Oh my God, I just gotta say this about like the Kevin Durant trade, like if the. Can I also say, like, I saw Will bring it up in the comments, so I want to credit him. Because I do kind of agree. Are we, like, sure them getting, like, Jimmy and Kuminga doesn't make them better?
Okay.
It might.
It definitely balances the roster more at a minimum.
Yeah. Like,
once again, like, I think that I would have not done a lot of things that the Suns have done.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think that they should seriously consider is a Kevin Durant trade, just because that roster is so like the redundancy across the roster. If your three best players are all bucket getting guys, like we've seen that with defensive deficiencies, we've seen it play out. Jimmy's much better defensively. Him and Booker and Beal is probably a better fit. I'm not a Kuminga guy, but like at least you get to take a flyer on a young guy. We know Ishbia is going to pay these guys. I actually don't hate it for the Suns if they don't have to. No, the thing I hated for the Suns was the fact that they did that trade a few weeks ago without any idea of what they were going to do.
They're so good.
They're great.
It really is like they're the reality TV show NBA team where like every other NBA, well, I guess until this Mavs thing, but every other NBA GM gets to go to their owner and they're like, haha, at least I didn't do that, right?
The owner's literally the one who's doing it too.
Yeah.
That's the funniest part. It's very obvious that he has his hand in all of this. I don't think James Jones was a fairly conservative GM before he got there.
Yeah.
No, like he didn't make big, like the biggest trade he made was the Chris Paul trade, which was a fantastic value trade.
Trading Kevin Durant after the haul you gave up for him like 2 years later, by the way, for like fucking like Jimmy Butler and Kuminga would be so good.
Nico Harrison would trade him for Jakob Poeltl, just a better balance of roster with two-way split winners.
Amazing.
I'm sorry, Anthony Davis.
How here's the other thing that would be very funny. What if it wouldn't it be hilarious if it was Bam and Kuminga instead?
Bam it. Oh my god. Well, did you State of the League guys on their podcast, they were like, do you think this trade went through? And Pat Riley was like, what? I could have traded Bam for Luka?
yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's gotta be, because like it's not to say that Bam's as good as AD, but like Bam's much younger at a minimum. Like he's around the same age as Luka.
No, I've always said like AD is like Bam's Charizard. You know, it's just like Bam is the Charmeleon. You know, of that evolution.
Do the Mavs front office have one of those front offices where they hire a bunch of like Twitter guys? Because if they do.
They used to. That's how
Haralabab got it. They might have taken Bam.
Yo, honestly, this is kind of wild. I kind of have to put some. I don't want to hand it to Isol, but you kind of got to put some respect on Haralabab's name.
Yes, yeah.
He was a big part of them drafting Luka. Brunson was one of his picks.
Yeah,
and like,
didn't he not want the Kristaps trade?
I believe so.
If I remember correctly, I mean, it's hard to really know what's true when a guy comes out and says this, especially because there's no other like public media figures that are going to come out and like have like equal footing to Haralabab. Like it goes.
I mean, in fairness, Mark Cuban could have came out and said the other, like he's maybe
he's
the only
still
owner
a minority owner technically.
Yeah.
So he's not saying anything. He said no comment. He said, who was it? Chandler Parsons said he texted him and he said that he was just as shocked as everyone else.
Like, not my team anymore.
Yeah, he's like, nah, I don't have to worry about this shit. I got out at the right fucking time.
Do you think he feels like the guys who sold Twitter?
Yeah. Well, yes. And I'm very mad I missed this joke before we streamed the other night, but someone called it the trade, the Mark Cuban missile crisis.
That's a good.
Mark
is going to announce an expansion team in Dallas without approval called Mav Sky. And
he follows me on Blue Skies. He's been trying to get people to move over there.
Yeah. God, if you just spend 15 minutes a day convincing your friends, you know, that's your good deed for the day.
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I think I would like, you know, for Miami, I think Wiggins is like a pretty good player. Like,
I mean, at this point, you burned every bridge with Jimmy. Like to get back a good rotation player for him that is an important position.
I'd say a good starter.
It's fine. And if you get picks on top of that, sure.
A good starter at a position of need. I think Wiggins is still in his prime. What is he, 29? Like,
he's like 28 or 29.
Yeah. Like, that's fine. And you get and to get any picks you get for Jimmy on top of that, like, amazing. Like, I don't know. That would be kind of a get out of jail free card for Miami, to be totally honest. Like, give Spo Andrew Wiggins, like,
he's going to be good for them.
Yeah. Like I think I would really like that trade for them. You unlock Tyler Hero, you can kind of move on. Maybe you can like rehab Bam. I hate to hand it to Isol, but like that would be a pretty good trade, all things considered, for them. I really do not like it from the Warriors' perspective. You're not going to contend right now. I think they need to target someone like a little bit younger, like someone who's like good now, but like when
like Paul George.
Gone, yeah, well, I didn't like that any better. Like,
what? No, Paul George is a Sixer, or is not a Sixer anymore.
Don't be greedy. You already turned one of your guys you signed to this offseason into a good young player.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about that real quick, because I just want to touch on that for a second. Chiodo put it perfectly. He said, "Look, I've criticized Morey a lot. He's obviously fucked up a lot, and things haven't gone well." One of the things that we always wanted him to do that he did a lot in his Houston days was he saw that Nico Harrison traded Luka Doncic and said, "Get that guy on the phone immediately." Yeah, because I don't think that the Caleb Martin.
I'm just putting that together. That actually is probably.
That's literally what happened. That's literally what happened.
God, he said he said he's on a hot streak right now, and we need to keep this up. And so the Sixers get their second round pick. The Mavericks own the Sixers' second round pick this year, which, by the way, is the 37th pick in the draft right now, if you're wondering. They get that pick back in the trade. They get Quentin Grimes, who makes half the amount of money of Caleb Martin. By the way, Caleb Martin also had a trade kicker. This put the Mavs back into the tax.
Yeah. Also,
what are any of their moves?
I don't know.
It really seems like Luka Supermax. I don't know if you can trust that guy, but paying it for
Caleb Martin, Eastern Conference Finals riser.
Let's say the plot of The Producers is unfolding in the Mavericks front office. What would you do different from what they've done like the last week to make the team as bad as possible? Like for the foreseeable future. Like, are they going to trade Najee Marshall like next and like Lively? If they trade like Lively and like,
I think what if they trade Kyrie for Jimmy and then Jimmy opts out this summer? Well, Kyrie could opt out this summer.
I guess it's just the same thing.
I was dying at the guys on the Hoop Collective. They're like, well, Kyrie may get that max now. Because it's like, now what are the Mavs going to do?
The perfect time to trade him. To give Kyrie all the leverage in the world to get a fucking like 35% max.
Kyrie's like, I had to be on my best behavior before. I can do whatever I want now.
You need me.
Yes.
You need me now.
It's so bad on so many. I'm sorry we keep like getting derailed and talking about this, but like it really is
all roads lead to Luka trade.
There's like one more wrinkle. I just can't get over how confoundingly stupid it is. Like I remember, people are going to think I'm doing this because I'm a Celtics fan. When the Nets trade happened, everyone said, this could be bad down the line, but I understand it. Like that was the consensus. Like everyone saw the risk down the line, but everyone was like, I kind of get it. You kind of, you're tapped out.
Media was much dumber back then too.
Yes, that's true. That is 100% true. Yeah.
The NBA media is much smarter than they used to be.
Yes.
Well, I would have said GMs until this weekend.
Until the last few days.
Well, we kept saying that. We kept Karnasovis innocent apparently, because we were saying that like Karnasovis is like one of the last like bad GMs. I guess most people did not like the Bulls move this week, but I didn't think it was terrible. Considering
that amazing pivot Sam made. You might have missed this, Harrison. Sam made the pivot of the De'Aaron Fox trade was actually bad for the Spurs and that the Bulls did well in that trade. And I was like, I went back and I re-listened and I was like, this is a contrarian take that I didn't even think you had in you. Like I was kind of in awe. It was like a generational performance. It was basically like what Luka's going to do the first game he plays against the Mavericks.
He's so mad at just like the state of Texas in general right now that he's like, you know what?
Fuck this.
Fuck the whole
Spurs
state.
are going to get it too. I know that they are not related to the Mavs, but it doesn't matter.
The Rockets make a fucking trade.
Look, I'm just saying, whatever the NBA media all like something, if you zag every time,
you're bound to get something
usually
right.
Correct. You're going to be right 50% of the time, just like the NBA media.
Yes.
Also, another thing that I completely misunderstood when the trade broke with the Fox Levine thing the other night was the fact that the Bulls got the protection. They got their own pick back.
Yeah.
So that the protections were basically, so they actually can do the opposite of tanking now.
Yeah,
they can actually make a push for the play.
Wrote like now the Bulls can tank safely, not realizing like the details of the pick.
Like they actually can try to make the play in the next few years now and just never tank.
That's so upsetting.
I love the NBA so much. It's just
Dallas and Houston. Dog, Houston.
Whoa. No. Hold on. You just buried the lead, bro.
Wait, a Kyle Kuzma.
Dallas is interested in Kevin Durant?
Oh, yeah. I missed Dallas. I just saw Houston.
Well, because Dallas, who cares? I mean, they're going to be bad no matter what. Like, what would that trade even look like?
What? Are they dedicated to making the oldest team possible? The Mavericks?
Wait, no, but this like a Kyle Kuzma for Chris Middleton trade being close.
That was I literally had next on my agenda Nihilus Buck suicide, Kyle Kuzma for Chris Middleton trade. I'm not even kidding. I literally had that written down.
Getting close, dude. That is horrendous.
Steve B. Hoop, though, is his name.
Yeah, I was
We
gonna
think
say,
that's a guy that's
I'm trying
plugged
to
in.
remember who that is.
Is that Steve Bulpett? No.
Yeah, it's Steve Bulpett. He
Yeah.
used to be a newspaper
Yes.
guy.
Yes, he's a Celtics guy. He's an old
Yeah.
Celtics. So he's like Danny. Honestly, he's just a Danny Ainge plant. Like that was what Steve Bulpett was in Boston. So like he kind of got pushed out once Danny wasn't the GM anymore because he didn't have sources.
So they're saying that the Kuzma for Middleton trade is close. They must think that
three-way deal with the Sixers. Like
we don't even have the salary. We don't have the salary to get up to Middleton's number.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well,
I know Daryl Morey loves to trade for guys with lower body injuries in their 30s that used to be good.
Dog, I feel bad for Bucks fans, dude, if that happens. Like I know Chris Middleton gets hurt, but like, Chris Middleton is good.
I heard about the Valanciunas for Nurkic move. Both of those moves are apparently going to happen.
I don't understand why the Wizards even do that.
So are the Sixers in on that trade?
Do the Suns have any picks?
Because
they have their
made up
yeah.
They're fucking disgusting terrible like pick, like god damn.
The NBA needs to they need to stop this. Like this is people are not going to be able to follow trades anymore. We have like 3-way swaps now, and it's just like I don't even know how to like my brain can't process that. I'm not smart enough.
I can't Houston, I'm sorry. I know we want to talk about Dallas. Houston being on the Kevin Durant deal is like Rafael Stone has done such a good job.
KD listed doubtful.
No way, dude.
I literally just got done saying that never means.
It doesn't matter.
That guy's
to me,
traded.
It means something every time.
Yeah, it means something to me. Damn it.
I have a recurring bit where anytime a guy is held out for injury around this time of year, I'm just like trade.
I can't believe we said this was going to be the worst Slop season ever, and it is like bar none been the best.
Yep.
Maybe
best trade deadline of all time.
The best trade deadline of all time.
We are going to get people complaining that the trade deadline's boring. Like if all this stuff happens before it, they're like, "Oh, trade deadline day was boring. There was just like the completed KJ Martin salary dump. We only got a KD trade, a Luka trade, De'Aaron Fox. Like,
yeah, we'll have nothing to talk about during Slot Fest because all the trades have already happened.
Done.
CJ McCollum, I owe you an apology.
We honestly should personally apologize to him in New Orleans.
Wait.
Yeah, on stage.
Might be trading Draymond in the KD
Okay,
trade
so the Suns want Draymond as the return for KD, apparently. Which is why they have to trade Nurkic, because they'll kill each other.
Dog.
This is amazing.
This is the greatest flop season of all time.
Oh my god,
I underestimated how a ton of front offices having no options would create craziness, because they have nowhere to go. They have no option but to eat themselves.
Yeah, it's like like an animal trapped in like a bear trap will chew its own leg off. Like that's what the Suns are doing.
That's what's happening right now. Yeah, the Kevin Durant is their leg they're chewing off right now.
So like half the NBA is like trapped in a saw trap, and Rob Pelinka just people are sending him candy. It's just.
So it's going to be Kuminga and Draymond possibly for Kevin Durant if they make that move?
God damn, dude.
That's so weird.
Okay. James Jones, do you want to play a game?
Kevin Durant, I mean, someone did come out, I think it was Wendy, said everyone is on the table for the Warriors except for Steph Curry. So Steph must have pushed the button.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that they would do this without Steph being pissed.
Yeah.
Because Draymond is his guy. He's always been Draymond's done some pretty fucked up shit, and he's always stood by him.
Or at least
I think we're gonna find out someday that he's just Steph's bad cop.
Yeah.
He's actually a nice guy. He just Steph just gets mad about stuff, and he has Draymond go and beat Yusuf Nurkic up.
Draymond was actually at that practice with Jordan Poole. Draymond was actually crying and whispered into Jordan's ear before he punched him, "I'm sorry, I have to do this." And Steph was looking on, just nodding. "Take my threes, will you?" That I love that.
You want to call yourself a splash bro? All right.
I love that idea that he's fucking Gus Fring, that Steph is the Gus Fring of the Warriors.
Yeah, Draymond's just his mic. He just he's sad about it. He just goes around doing all this horrible shit all the time, but he's like, whatever, I'm dead inside.
We had a good thing going, you stupid bastard, and then you had me punch Jordan Poole.
Oh
God. This is This is generational slop. What we're getting
historical slop that we have going on here, folks.
It would be very funny if nobody got like it was just silent between.
Yeah, and then everyone is just pissed at each other for the rest of the season because of all these rumors that have flown during slop season. Like no one trusts anyone.
Like athletic trend story is like talking to all the guys anonymously who were almost traded by their stars.
Yeah, exactly.
How mad they are about it.
Yeah,
it blows up the entire season for like half the teams in the NBA.
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing ever happens getting put to the test. We'll find out if the Department of Education gets dissolved.
By the way, nothing ever happens. I just want to address the nothing ever happens meme.
Okay.
Nothing ever happens because the bar for anything is so high now. People will say nothing ever happened after the LA wildfires. People will say nothing ever happens after 100 people die in a plane crash. People will say nothing ever happens after things have happened, and a lot, especially during slop season from an NBA perspective, the most things have ever happened in terms of slop stuff. One of the best players in the league just got traded halfway through the season. That's never happened before.
In the middle of the night with no rumors about it before.
Yes. Like even it's literally even, I think the only thing that we have close to comparing to this is Harden at the beginning of the year when Houston traded him, because KD was older. And all the guys that get traded mid-season are always a little bit older. They're not in their primes. Like this is, once again, I know we're kind of we're beating a dead horse here, but this is historical standard stuff. This has not happened ever before.
I'm laughing at Will's comment that the Mavs posted, "Welcome to the fam, Caleb," and all the replies are, "Fuck you! This is not a family anymore." Poor Caleb.
I feel so bad for the Mavs social admin.
Yeah, they really
imagine when they got that text. They're like, "All right, so we need you to whip up a graphic real quick." It's like, "Oh yeah, sure. What is it? Like we made a trade. Oh cool. What reinforcements did we get? We got Anthony Davis. Nice. That's gonna be so good." And then they're like, "We traded
Kyrie
Luka."
Must be heartbroken.
Yeah, exactly. Did you hear that report that they thought they were getting Kyrie? They were going to do a Kyrie for AD swap this offseason? And I'm like, oh,
no way, man.
I would have been so mad about that if I was if the Lakers had done that.
Well, you live in the eternal sunshine timeline, so you don't have to worry about that.
I'm just saying, Lakers exceptionalism, guys. There's worse decisions that I've made in my life than injecting the purple and gold into my blood.
Can I say something? Fat Neckbeard just put the Steve Bulpett tweet in here, and something I missed the first time when they were talking. He was talking because we all looked at the Washington for Kuzma, and I just got done saying that he's a Danny Ainge plant. And look at the second half of that tweet. Story coming about how some teams are looking to make a run while others position for Cooper Flag. Clearly, Danny Ainge is fucking like this is like, okay, I'll give you the scoop on what everyone's talking about, but then talk about what a good job I'm doing getting us Cooper Flag.
Have you seen my post about Danny Ainge realizing that the Lakers were getting Luka 30 minutes before the trade went down, and it's just the final scene in Saw when Adam realizes that Jigsaw is the killer in the middle of the room.
As if Rob Pelinka could not have made me turn opinion on him more. He does the ultimate prank on Danny Ainge as just like a side quest in this trade.
Yeah. Oh. Putting Danny Ainge in the cuck chair in this trade is
honestly that was probably a Kurt Rambis move. They're like, well, who do we want to dump salary with? And Kurt's like, let me hold on. Let's get Danny on the phone.
Let's twist the knife a little here.
So the Athletic is reporting that the Mavericks, that's real. Jesus Christ, dude.
I mean, I don't think I don't see how a KD Kyrie team up.
What does that salary even look like though, dude?
I would say a KD Kyrie trade with a third star could never go wrong.
I mean, AD is a much better fit than Harden was for that third star role.
Well, I mean, their problem wasn't the fit wasn't bad. It was that none of them could fucking play games.
Yeah.
Except for Harden, and AD will not.
And even Harden he was playing games, but he was hurt.
Yeah, well, that second season, especially.
Can I say something that's fucking hilarious? I think the only way to get to the salary here is you have to trade Daniel Gafford.
Yeah.
So
of course,
Derek Lively's out for the year.
Is he out for the whole season?
Yes.
Are we sure? I genuinely might have memory hold that.
Playing center again. He's like, Nico, what the hell?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they would just be stuck, dude. And do they literally not have enough?
So they're trading PJ Washington,
Najee Marshall, Daniel Gafford, and Klay Thompson, and that barely gets you there. And that's a 4-for-1.
Yeah, and they can't re-aggregate Caleb Martin, by the way.
They can't. No. So and everyone else is like too small. You can't re-aggregate Max Christie. You're not trading Kyrie because that's the point. So then the next guys you have left salary wise are Derek Lively and Dwight Powell, who make $5 and $4 million respectively. You're not including them. So like,
maybe I was wrong about who the like tiny Hall of Fame point guard from New Jersey pulling a Machiavellian move like in this whole thing was. It was Kyrie. He got his Nike rep installed as the GM and is now just like getting all his buddies back in Dallas. Like there were rumors for years. I mean, Sam, I'm sure you remember it. It's like that He wanted AD on the Celtics, and that part of the reason the Celtics made that trade was that they thought it would set them up for an AD trade.
Yeah, we get to see the timeline that Danny Ainge could have gotten, except those guys are like 6 years older now.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, I mean, I think that it would need to be God, but like, why would the Suns even do that trade just to like reinforce it? Because you are getting 4 rotation players in that trade. But like, then you've got to like waive like you've got to waive like the entire bottom 4 of your roster, which is.
Are we sure this isn't just a leak from the Suns being like, look, the Mavericks are stupid. Everyone knows they're stupid.
It might be, but like,
and it's like we're trying to get leverage over the Warriors in these talks.
Maybe, yeah, maybe it's as simple as that. But like,
I think it is. I think it is just because it's like, I mean, once again, I'm not going to doubt Nico Harrison. I'm not going to doubt that he could pull off something this stupid.
God damn
but
it.
Like adding that team and then having like Caleb Martin as your 4th best player when everything's said and done,
using the pick from the Luka trade to send to the Suns for KD is
demonic.
It's demonic, man.
Oh my God, dude.
So wait, no, but then it could be part of, because I guess then you would loop in the Heat. Maybe that's how you do this. So it's still Jimmy. And
where's Jimmy going? To the Suns?
To the Suns. And they get the Heat get some of these rotation players, and it's kind of spread out a little bit in some way. Oh my God, dude.
This is crazy.
I my brain is breaking like live on like this is
amazing.
Because all of these trades, I like hard, like anytime I like look at trades that are possible, I like, okay, well, obviously that's not going to happen because it's like fucking insane.
Yeah.
And the Luka trade just brought us home. Like we're just, all of this shit is like possible all of a sudden.
Yeah. We got one-shotted by the Luka trade.
Yes, ayahuasca. That was the ayahuasca fucking Hermes taking ayahuasca, like version of like NBA Slop, man. Like, god damn, dude.
Yeah, National Basketball Ayahuasca. That's that's what it stands for.
We love this, babe. This is great. I mean, if anything happens tonight, I'm hopping back on. I will be here no matter what.
Does it change your guys' opinion of the Luka trade if they traded him for Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant?
No.
There's almost nothing.
It at least looks a little better, right?
But why wouldn't you just trade for KD? Like, you didn't have to do the Luka trade to trade for KD.
Well, aren't they using the picks that they are one of the picks that they got from the Lakers?
Well, no, because
there's one pick, first of all.
Their depth would be so bad, dude. We've seen this go wrong over and over with these old guys.
I'm not saying it's a good trade now. I'm just saying, is it a little better if that's functional?
I mean, optically, like for casuals, sure, but like Mavs fans aren't going to be fooled. Like any,
I don't feel bad. I'm saying I don't feel bad for Mavs fans anymore. I think the Lakers did a fair deal if this is what goes down, and you know,
I'm glad early in the podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad. I don't feel bad anymore. I'm glad that Rob and Nico could work out a win-win for both parties. It's not about someone fleecing someone. It's about both sides feeling like they got better. You know?
Yeah, officer. He's in LA. You'll see him. He's got a fedora. Like, take him away. Get him out of here.
Oh man. This is magical. Also, why are they trading Chris Middleton? Because his ankles are just made of paste now, I assume.
Why are they trading Chris Middleton for literally the worst, most expensive rotation player on the market?
Yeah, Kuzma's having his worst season of his career right now.
Yeah, but he has Mamba mentality. So
shit. I said that. Did you see my tweet about this earlier? I said this is going to be the trade where everyone on Twitter goes, "Why did the Bucks do this?" And they're going to destroy them. And then everyone on Instagram goes, "Why the fuck did the Wizards trade Kyle Kuzma for a loser?"
Yeah.
TikTok and Instagram are going to be the complete opposite opinion of
the
Twitter.
Bucks just got a demon.
Yeah. This demon, and it's like Lakers highlights from like 7 years ago. Like
they're posting the Tatum versus Kuzma graphic.
Yeah.
So like he's just been in a bad situation. He was better than Tatum at one point, you know? It's
Jesus Christ.
All right, here's more slop we just got. It's definitely what we already knew, but a 3-team trade involving the Warriors, Heat, and Suns, sending Andrew Wiggins to the Heat and Jimmy Butler to the Suns has been discussed. This is the trade, dude. This is the trade. That trade that we talked about the other night is what's going to happen. It's going to be Kuminga and Butler to the Suns, Wiggins and Filler to the Heat, and then KD's going back to the Warriors. This is going to be a movie.
Warriors. Jesus.
Who's defending on the Warriors?
What is going on? Who's defending this?
Doesn't matter.
Who's defending? It's not me. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's your family. God damn it! I can't. Fuck. Pat Riley is not getting away with it anywhere near as much as the Lakers just got away with it. So like, I'm gonna.
Pat Riley's too busy during trade deadline.
Pat Riley, the reason he took some Lakers magic with him to the Knicks and then Miami.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's running out now. Like 20
Pat
years
Riley
later.
has like a live stream. This is not a bit. This is in like a book about the Lakers. He has like a live stream webcam that just points out to the view from his house in Malibu, and that he just watches at his desk in Miami instead of just retiring there.
He's so
what,
dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Put himself in the cuck chair on his own beach house.
That's what I'm saying. That is the most boomer shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Retire.
I think I could be wrong. I'm like 90% sure it was the Jeff Pearlman Showtime book that has this, or it might be the one on the Shaq Kobe Lakers.
That is
That's amazing.
Incredible detail. That is the most Irish man pretending to be Italian behavior I've ever heard in my entire life, dude.
He's like, the sun will set over a grateful universe once I teach Jimmy Butler a lesson.
He's retiring after the season. After this is done, he just needs to get one more in there. Oh my god, dude! No, wait, what were we talking about with Pat Riley? I can't remember. Damn, I had a good joke. Oh, Pat Riley, did you see that he's negotiating with the NFL? He made a deal with them that if the Chiefs win, they can use, because he copyrighted the term three-peat.
Yeah.
So they have to technically negotiate with him. So if the Chiefs win, quote unquote, I'm sorry, I'm going Alex Jones mode if we get some bad calls on Sunday. If the Chiefs win, you're telling me the NFL's already giving money to Pat Riley? They're negotiating a deal before the game's even fucking played?
It's obviously rigged, but it's not an earthly force. It's that we are the damned souls that were damned to live in the bad timeline. Yeah. There's like there are.
I disagree entirely.
No, there are infinite timelines.
I love everything about the world right now. I think it's great.
Harrison, you and I could agree on this. The Celtics are defending world champs right now. So
you're right.
Obviously, it's the bad timeline from that perspective. Luka just got traded for. Obviously, it's the bad timeline from my perspective. It's the bad timeline for every other member of the other 28 teams. Like, this is hell. The Chiefs are winning. Like, it's unreal, dude. It's so bad.
I personally say that if you look at, there's one of two things, and I talked about this immediately when the Luka trade went down the other night. There's one of two ways you can look at this. Either Adam Silver made the call and said ratings are down, slop is what gets people watching and paying attention. Luka's going to the Lakers, figure out a way to fucking get Kevin Durant back on the Warriors. We're making shit happen, okay? We're going to move some pieces around, whatever. Or you could look at the other way, and the memo went around that it's over. That make your trades now, because we will not be a country soon.
No, they heard about the Maverick. All that, maybe this is it. All the other owners heard about Maverick Carter putting together, like the early funding group for like a player-owned league that is the most clear. Like LeBron, I'm going to threaten this so that you give me the expansion team ploy ever. But he's putting together the player-run league, and they're like, oh no, guys, get your trades in now. We're not going to have players in 5 years.
Exactly. They're threatened by the power of the worker.
There's gonna be like the Saudi Basketball Association and like
LeBron's Saudi Communist Basketball Association, where the workers own the means of production.
I'm getting so fucking mad at my friends sending me TikToks right now because my phone goes off and like the little, and I think it's a Shams push notification, and I'm just furious at them right now. Like, shut up! I don't want to see. And it's like a very cute video of like a gibbon like hooting, and I'm like, I don't want to see this shit.
Oh my god, what a fucking slop season this is. All right. So, any other thoughts? I'm coming back if we get more slop tonight. My schedule is cleared until Thursday. I'm staying. I'll probably stay up really late in case there's a 1 a.m. slop drop again. I'll be back for it all. But until then, anything else you want to say?
Harrison, I'll defer to the guest.
You know, I just want to say, like, I'm really happy to be here. Always fun to come on. Anytime the Lakers trade for a generational player at 25, I'm happy to come on and discuss it with you guys because, you know, it's just like, I know, yeah, you could say, Harrison, didn't that take up 2 hours of your workday and you're going to have to work later tonight? Yes, but I got to bask in the glow of Luka, you know, being a Laker. And
Sam's looking around for a gun right now.
I was gonna say Harrison just styled on me so much. I got to like Big Brother Harrison for like 18 months, and now the tables have turned. He did the fucking ambulance.
We're gonna actually duel in New Orleans, I think, is how this is gonna go down.
Yes.
I forgot ambulance. Let's go.
But not for me.
God. I had to finalize the hotel reservation once I found out Luka was going to be a Laker. Like, well, now I can show my face. People aren't going to say mean things to me.